First of all, Jamie, I want to congratulate you on your award from Atletico Bilbao as a one-club man. It's a great honour for you, I'd imagine. It's a lovely tradition that Athletic Bilbao come up with every season as well.
Yeah, listen, really honoured. Some special names have been given the award already. They haven't yet got to Gary Neville. I'm sure that'll come in a few years. But yeah, listen, it's a unique football club. First came to my mind in the mid to late 80s when Howard Kendall left Everton to go and manage the club, so always been aware of them, and as you get older you understand how the club works, how it goes about things, so yeah, a really special honour for myself.
Interesting that you mentioned Everton there, because I was at Everton yesterday. If ever there was a game that summed up why Liverpool took the stance they did over Alexander Isak and why Newcastle took the stance they did in getting suitable replacements in, it was that game really, because both sides could really have done with a centre forward who could produce something out of the ordinary, and Alexander Isak obviously does that. Not that we're expecting to necessarily see him here today.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the teams are out yet, but the word we're hearing is he may not have even travelled, he may not be on the bench, so you know, he's obviously short, match fitness-wise, maybe trainer-wise as well, and you know, the manager and the staff feel, you know, an extra 2 or 3 days training, and then maybe he goes on the bench for the Champions League game against the Atletico Madrid.
How do you think it's going to work though, with Ekitike making the start that he has, and that forward line of Gakpo, Salah on the right-hand side, of course? Where does Alexander Isak fit into it all? Where does Hugo Ekitike fit into it all now?
Well, Isak fits into it as centre forward, and I think when you pay that much money for somebody and he's of the quality of that he is, I think it'll be a similar situation to Salah, in that, you know, whenever you go and see Liverpool play, you'd expect to see Salah on the right and you'd expect to see Isak as the centre forward, and the rest will have to fill in around that, whether that is going to the left for Ekitike. But don't forget, Gakpo's there, and he's not bad. You know, he's one of the best left-sided attacking players in the Premier League. You've got Vert off the front as well, so that I would imagine would be Liverpool's first choice from 4. And Ekitike can obviously fill in for Isak, maybe play with them at times and play for the left. So there's plenty of games, plenty of minutes to go round, and I'm sure the manager knows what he's doing.
Does Isak's arrival also help someone like Florian Wirtz?
Yes, in some ways, yeah. I mean, if you're a creative player and you're giving chances to one of the best finishers in Europe, it's going to lift your stats as well in terms of you know, assists. But I mean, there's a lot of talk about Isak, but the man you've just mentioned there, coming for a hell of a lot of money, hasn't been the start he would have wanted. I thought he was excellent in that second half against. Oh, he's dreaming there.
We're smiling and we're laughing because honest lots just walked past us because the Liverpool players are just arriving. I'm having a look down the line at the moment and can't see Alexander Isak in a minute. I can see Virgil van Dijk coming towards us at the moment. Joe Gomez just going past as well. But yeah, as you were saying, Jamie, the fact that Isak spearheading that attack can help someone like Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, I think it will. And I think, listen, I think that this week's a big one for Florian Wirtz as well. You know, 3 games in a week, the Champions League starting, he was bored for those type of nights. That's what you buy a player of that stature for. As I said, it probably hasn't been the start he would have wanted. I thought he was really good in the second half against Arsenal, and if he starts today, hopefully he can continue that.
I think what we have seen from him though, he's trying things, because I think he has the most runs off the ball up until now, the most progressive runs as well in the final third, and that says a lot about what he's trying, at least to create that kind of space and create opportunities to find those spaces.
Oh, he's not a luxury player, you know, he's a hard worker, and I think, you know, in Liverpool, even going back to Klopp's time, you know, there was nobody who could, you know, as I said, be a luxury and not do defensive work. I mean, Szoboszlai did that fantastically well in that position last season, but Liverpool wants someone to do that work, but also maybe provide more goals and assists than Szoboszlai did from that role last season. And as I said from Wirtz, yes, the hard work's been there, but he hasn't been bought for that. He's been bought to, you know, as I said, score goals and decide games.
37 consecutive Premier League games that Liverpool have scored in. Obviously, it was Szoboszlai's great free kick against Arsenal that kept that going as well. How did Burnley go about stopping Liverpool this afternoon?
Listen, it's going to be tough, but we know Burnley have an unbelievable record here. I don't think Scott Parker's lost
24 unbeaten games in league football.
Yeah. So they made a good start Premier League wise. It was against Sunderland. It was an important one to win that, even though, you know, 2 promoted teams. It was an important one to win. They were competitive in the Manchester United game. You know, very unfortunate there late on in the game. And I watched the Tottenham game when I was getting ready for Monday Night Football and the first weekend of the season. And there was a lot of good stuff in there from Burnley. Just probably lacked, as you would expect, that little bit of quality in the final third. But I think Liverpool last season had a couple of scares. I think in the first half away at Ipswich, Slot's first game, they were very fortunate to go in at 0-0. I think Southampton away as well. At one stage they were 2-1 down in the second half as well. So I'm sure, you know, the Liverpool manager will be mentioned in those games from last season.
I go back to when Scott Parker was appointed the manager. He freely admitted when he arrived as well that people questioned his appointment and he had to prove that doubters wrong. I think he's more than done that.
People question everyone. People question every appointment. That's just the way of the world now with social media. No one's happy. No one's ever happy at the minute. You just listen, whatever role you're in, you try and do as well as Scott Parker's done at Burnley and shut a few of them up. But yeah, listen, he's had a really good, I'd say, start to his managerial career, because I think it will go on for a long time. He's had different jobs. Obviously, he had the Bournemouth one, but he left very early after a game against Liverpool, I think, a few years ago. But he's done brilliantly so far in his career, a lot of experiences, and I think it'll be a sort of long and successful managerial career for Scott Parker.